everyone, welcome back to the channel. Thank you guys for joining me this week. I'm really excited to see what the runes have to say for the week ahead. And of course, before we get into things, a brief little astrological weather moment. Because happy Sagittarius season. We are just entering into the season of Sagittarius, which is the mutable fire sign of the Archer. They are deeply mystical. These are people who are adventurous, who are constantly looking forward into the future, shooting a fiery arrow into the dark. And it is a beautiful energy. Very, very, very welcomed after the heaviness that we may have experienced during Scorpio season the past month. And of course, we also have Jupiter is moving forward or stationing direct, which is going to be an excellent energy, especially in conjunction with moving into Sagittarius season, because Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter. Jupiter being the planet of abundance, of expansion, of openness, of generosity, and also of spiritual protection. So we have the Sun is moving into Sagittarius. We also have Venus and Mercury moving into Sagittarius as well. And all of these planets are going to be under the sign that is ruled by Jupiter, which is moving direct. And that is just basically saying that we're going to see a lot more movement in our communication sector, our jobs. So we may have new job opportunities, new promotions, feelings about where we want to move forward in our financial life. We're also going to see great movement in our interpersonal life, with Venus being influenced by the Jupiter transit and the Sun. So a lot of personal growth, relationship growth, and financial or job or communications growth, which is going to be really cool. So a lot of beautiful energy starting this week, and it's going to be a really a really blessed December. That's the feeling that I'm getting. So also, thank you guys for waiting. Last week was wild. I got sick again, and I had a couple of other personal stuff come up, so I wasn't able to do the rune reading last week. But it was pretty cool, because I did manage to do a reading for myself, and I'm very pleased to say that things happened as the runes said that they would, which tends to be the case, which is kind of cool. Okay, let's see. It's interesting. Ooh, okay. Got it. So, for those of you who like roses, I was seeing a rose, specifically a white rose or a red rose, just during the meditation as I was shuffling. And so roses are one of the few flowers in the plant kingdom that are connected to the higher realms. I mean, I should say, like, all plants are connected to the higher realms in many ways, but roses have a very particular affinity with angelic frequencies, with higher level connection to our higher self, our ancestors. Roses in particular do have a very deep spiritual relationship. It also feels to me that secrets will be revealed this week, whether it's secrets about yourself or secrets about your family, especially with things picking up speed in terms of our social engagement for those of us in the States, because I know this week is Thanksgiving week, so state-wise we're going to have a lot of movement in our everyday social engagement is going to be bumped up a bit. But I do feel like there's going to be secrets revealed in our family dynamics and relationships. Not bad secrets, but secrets that are going to bring more clarity to the situation, or bring more clarity to how you relate to your family, or how you relate to your even your friendships, chosen family stuff. So roses for those of you who connect to that sign. I didn't get a song this week, so I'm also feeling encouraged to share with you guys to find spaces of silence where you can. Sometimes music, even though it is extremely powerful, it can be a little distracting, so it may be beneficial for us to find spaces where our silence can be used as a means of fortifying our boundaries and finding deeper healing in spaces that we may not find healing normally. So, starting from the center radiating hour, there's a lot of blank runes. So, I usually don't read those, of course, blank runes. Some people do, but I personally leave it. If I do see some symbol, like if they fall into a specific shape, I'll read them. But to me, this just feels like we're moving forward in our life. There's this movement of these runes pointing forward. We're falling into one direction. It's kind of like going into a river, letting the river take us, the flow. So I'm seeing here also Berkano that had fell on its back. So this is a week of rest, if you can find it. Find spaces of rest. For some of us, it may be a very socially anxious week, just because Berkano, when it's in Merkstaff position, can represent social anxiety or aspects of our social environment that may not be very peaceful. It can be a little hectic. But because it fell on its side, I would also read it upright as well. So for many of us this week, we may also find a lot of abundance, growth, happiness. But it does feel like rest, like finding spaces of rest for ourselves. I feel like many of us have had a really rough past week, both with the change of weather for those of us in the northern hemisphere, but perhaps from other factors as well. But it feels like last week was a little bit rocky. So take your time this week to find rest, a space of rest, because I'm also seeing here Urus, which I fell in Merkstav. So for some of us, we may be having body aches and pains. I'm feeling some ache and pains in the neck or shoulder area. Some of us may be feeling it in the lower back. But wherever those pains are coming from, this is the sign to take an opportunity for rest, take a hot bath, take a shower, use a warm compress, or speak to a chiropractor, or if you have access to massage therapy or whatever it is that may help the body physically. I feel like stretching will be really helpful this week, yoga, breathing practices. Also for those of us who may be vitamin D deficient, I'm hearing that vitamin D may be very beneficial too, because it does help alleviate muscle aches and pains. So this week is a lot about rest, finding spaces of rest and recovery, so that when our body feels good, because our body is a measure of our environment, our body is a measure about how we are doing, not only within our environment, but how we are doing in relation to it, right? So our body is a barometer. It's more than just that, but it's a very good barometer for how we are doing in a given space. So if we're feeling pained, or we're feeling something's not right, or we do feel like we need rest, it usually is a sign that something is going haywire, or that something needs to be addressed. So this week will be a week of rest, of reflection, and of preparation, because I'm seeing here we have Kenos that fell on my lap, and I decided to put it up here, and we also have Ewas. I'll show you both of those. So we have Kenos here, which is the rune of the torch, and we have Ewas here, which is the rune of the yew tree, both of which speak of deep transformation, great creative impetus. They speak of new opportunities, new abundance, and a new fire that is lit in our heart. So it's really inspiring. We're going to be feeling much better after we take rest this week. And especially with the energy of Sagittarius coming through, we're going to be having more of that impetus forward. So I'm really excited to see how this week turns out. Let me know in the comments below if you have been feeling body aches and pains, how you've been experiencing the change of weather and the shift into the darker days. For those of us in the Northern Hemisphere, or for those of you in the Southern Hemisphere, let me know if I do have some viewers down south. Let me know how the transition into spring has been for you guys. If it has been a little rocky or if it has been very peaceful, I would love to hear in the comments below. And of course, if you like the video, like and subscribe. You know how it goes, it really does help. I would like to grow this little community of Rune people. So thank you guys for joining me. Happy Jupiter moving direct. Happy Sagittarius season. Happy birthday to all my Sagittarius out there. And I'll see you guys next week on the channel, alright? Bye everyone.